nobody dumber than y'all. I guess you love to be wrong, or you don't have the touch of the balls.
I'm sick of people with this much intelligence trying to tell me they know about Groms. What's up, everybody? Bike Builder Bear in the house. I want to respond to some criticisms I've had on Grom and Grom associated Facebook and Instagram pages, and a couple of criticisms that came out on my recent 500 mile review video. I want to clear something up and prove a point to a point. So let's check it out. I'm gonna flip the camera around and just talk as I walk around the bike and show you some stuff. Okay, first of all, let's let this cat out of the bag right now. I don't care what you say, the Honda is not any better than the clone. It's not. I'm not saying the clone is better than the Honda. Does the Honda have a reliable Honda made, legendary, proven, track proven built motor by Honda Corporation? Yes. But China has made a bulletproof platform that could be made over and over and over again, that is simple, easy to work on, easy to modify, and for a third of the cost. And unfortunately, they're getting so good at making these little piece of crap 125s that are carbureted, they're almost at the quality of the Honda. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter if it hurts your feelings. Sorry. Get over it. The Honda is a great, reliable brand. I never knocked Honda. And if you follow me and you've watched my videos, I'm a very open-minded person, and I like the low-budget go-around. I like the underdog. I've always been that way. So, if you're going to get upset, because the fact is, look at this thing. All the parts, all the goofy, flashy stuff, oil cooler, cam, all that stuff. Every single Honda that I encounter cannot keep up to me. Let me say that very clearly again. No Honda that I have encountered yet can keep up with me. I have spent less than $2,200. Well, let me clear it. Between my friend buying me this for $1,200 and everything that I've put into it, there's less than $2,200 into this thing, and I have less than 500 miles. I am faster than a Honda, and every single part that I have gotten for the upgrade was ordered for the Honda that replicas this model. So your argument that this bike is not good or worth the money that they present them for is retarded, foolish, childish. Get over it. If you have a Honda, they are great. They are made by a legendary company, and I respect them just as much as these. But the fact is, I am performing as well or as better as the name brand counterpart for way less than I would have paid for a used Honda. And I will be the first to put out a video on this thing's shortcomings. Here's a fact. What does everybody do to the Hondas? Handlebars, gearing, okay, sliders, seats, sub cages, coolers, exhaust. Everything that I have done to this bike, people do to the Hondas immediately. So I didn't do that to make this bike as good as the Honda. No, it already was. I just improved it just like you would a Honda. So again, if you could pull the cotton out of your ears, your head out of your ass, and let your feelings calm down for a second, you would understand that in my previous video and even in this video, I am not shitting on the Honda. I am telling the truth, which is that you can make anything good, you can make anything bad. But the fact is, for the money, this thing is just as formidable as the Honda. So now that being said, I'm going to jump on to a piece of paper with 2 little drawings and clear up the air about the forks, because I've been getting boohoo bitches about the fork oil upgrade. Okay, so on the issue and the doubters about the forks and the fork oil, I have heard and seen videos where the inner shock pieces on here, the cartridge tube that goes inside that chrome tube, which I have a drawing over here of, and the rod and everything come apart, and then there's a spring inside, and basically the tower tube, which allows the suspension compression, is also the oil distribution tube for the oil to squirt out and go back down into the spring tube. Now, doing this on the fly, there are seals here and there are seals there that are supposed to create a pressurized system in there with air and oil. When you get these bikes, dang it, where'd it go? Here it is. When you get these bikes, the oil that is in these shocks are similar to this oil. It's a silicone remote control shock oil. And I hate to tell you, but the compressibility between shock oil, 3-in-1, Harley Davidson Fork E-oil, Dextron transmission fluid, all have different compression rates, which have to do with the atmosphere. What is atmosphere? All of this stuff that we breathe that's everywhere. Hopefully that it didn't make you sick to your stomach, because if you're having trouble understanding this, then you might not have enough strong brain cells to keep you from getting sick from that. So anyways, you've got light shock oil in there. Now, this is supposed to be representation of the top black part, which I should have drew that longer. And this is representation of the chrome part that slides up in. This is your spring pack that's at the bottom of the fork inside the chrome part. And this is basically your suspension right here. This rod in the center is what pushes up on the top of the fork on that seal, that cap, okay? And also there's holes in there that allow the fluid to squirt out when it compresses and to fill back in when you're not compressed. So the fluid's going to be like somewhere around here, and they do all the science behind how much fluid you will need. And that dotted line is supposed to be the seal, that rubber seal down there, that rubber seal. So that being said, when you take out the thin remote control car shock oil, okay, and replace it with some E-type professional fork oil, these holes right here don't allow as much condensed fluid to flow through these holes when compressed. Not only that, when you have all of this apart and you put a denser fluid, then you cap that off with everything extended, you are creating a pressurized set. Now, the air pressure in there and the oil that you have in there are set. And then after you put weight on it, they will compress to a point where the shock won't preload anymore. The preload is set because the weight of the bike is on there, or the weight of you and the bike is on there. Now, when you have thinner oil with the air and you cap that off, it allows more compression. Okay? 3 ounces of this fluid will compress into 1/4 of an inch, where 3 ounces of this fluid will only compress into 2 3/4 inches. Are you getting that? Are you understanding here why if you just put fork oil, then you seal it because there's no pressure, okay, you're creating a different atmosphere, a different preload. So yes, just by taking off the forks, emptying out the oil with the forks off, allowing them to be completely extended with the spring, and putting a heavier, less compressible oil, and then having good seals at the top and the bottom, will raise your ride height. Sorry, that's the science, and not the Fauci sauce, not the Dr. Anthony Fauci, but Fauci sauce. I'm the science. No, actual science. Okay, and yes, there are differences when you have preload valves and nitrogen cartridges and stuff. I don't think this thing has nitrogen cartridges. It is a sealed cartridge compared to the ones that I see, in which look exactly the same, but you can screw the top and or you can screw both ends off and get into the spring pack. These ones on the 2021 seem to be welded and had more refined venting holes, the way that these were set up when I took it all apart and I emptied out the fluid. Okay, and then this is gonna be the last little thing I'm gonna show you guys right now. This is the quality of fluid that you are getting. Hold on. Look at this. When you get these things, you're getting this. Bloop. Look at runny. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Runny, thin fluid. This is the exact same fluid that you're getting in your forks. Why? Because they give you only what you need. Do you need good suspension to ride those bikes? No, but you need some oil in there to where the fork parts don't disintegrate going up and down. Okay, so that being said, if you doubt the fork oil thing, then don't. Spend money on whole forks. Spend $700–800 on custom forks. Because I'd rather just change some oil and be where I'm at now. Completely happy. Next subject. The next subject is the third motor mount. I've seen guys get this aluminum, nice looking, beautiful looking, for the Grom under motor mount that bolts on to literally the center of that shaft right there, similar to the way that handlebars bolt on to, you know, the headset of a bicycle. And here's one thing that I'm going to tell you right now. Unless you're a professional bodybuilder, you're never going to put out the torque that this thing could put out when you drop the clutch. Number one, I'll never be able to use my arms and put out the torque that this motor can. Okay? So, that being said, let me show you something real quick. Just by stepping on the peg of this thing. Look, I'm going to step on my peg on the other side. The foot peg. I don't know if you could see that. I'm stepping on the gear peg and the end of the motor. It's so hard to see, but literally the motor's going like this. Just ever so slightly. And I have changed, okay, I have changed the bolts, and I'm about to weld on my third motor mount plate. Okay, between the torque that that motor can put out and the fact that that thing will dance around, putting a mount that bolts onto there and then bolts onto there will eliminate some vibration, but it will never, ever, ever give you the rigidity, the strength, and the vibration elimination that the welded mount will do. And it would just be ludicrous to argue that. It's stupid. Now again, just like the Honda Grom, am I saying that that mount, modified with those drilled holes and all this and that, won't work? No, you knuckleheads. It's just insufficient. For the time it takes to, well, for the money that you're going to pay for that part, the time for it to ship, and then the time that you got to modify it to be able to get it to work, and then the end result, it's not really stiffening your motor. All it's doing is it's giving an extra clamp. It'll get rid of vibration, but it does not make your bike more rigid. Period. But welding a 1/4 inch plate with the holes drilled there will. It's just basic engineering. And here's a way that I can prove it for you without getting all crazy. Look at this. Look at this. And I did this for a Facebook clip the other day because people on Grom guys and Grom clone guys were doubting me. These are at 45 inch-pounds right now, which is tighter than you'll ever be able to tighten those stupid bolts on that mount. Look at this. Look at this. I'm going to stick it in here. Look at it. Look at it. One arm. And that's 45. Okay, on each bolt. I guarantee you the aluminum on that thing can't even handle 22 inch-pounds before you strip the threads. And that was one arm lifting up. I wasn't even putting my weight into it. But you're going to say something like that, strapped on the frame like that, with torque that I could never even do, is going to be sufficient. It's going to hold that thing right. If you believe that, then I need to meet you personally because I want to experience that Hunter Biden crack rock. Because that is the good stuff. Man, it's just like guys that sit there and say, oh, you're riding your Harley hard. You should have jeans and boots on because you need protective gears. You know, when you need protective gear when you're doing stunts. Obviously, you've never done stunts. Obviously, you don't watch Cruisy's Originals videos, and you've never been schooled, and you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Because if you're wearing boots and you ain't a fucking maverick ace at wheelies and stunting, you don't know what's actually the reverb and the shit that you're getting back through your brake pedal. Okay? Not only that, when I go down, it's road rash anyways, and I don't like these new jeans melted into my skin. So you're gonna get it anyways. Bunch of Karens. Sorry I'm a little angry in this video, but this last week I've got a rash of shit from people that think they know what they're talking about and they have no idea. Peace.
Guess you love to be wrong.